Descent into Darkness, a Call of Cthulhu campaign. Hello and welcome back to Deathwatch's Call of Cthulhu campaign, Descent into Darkness, Season 3. This is episode number 7. Lucky number 7, Dr. Andrews. I am Travis, and I will be the keeper of arcane lore. Before we return to the scenario, let us first get an introduction from our investigators.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm playing Detective Jack Glover, currently on suspension. Yeah, that's it.
I'm Brandon, playing Dr. Andrews, and you need not know anything else about me.
Hi, I'm Justin, playing Lance Monroe, and he is currently trying to figure out how all these pieces fit together.
And I'm John, playing James L. Whitmire, who was born in a small town about 25 years ago in a woodshed.
No.
You're born in a woodshed?
Yep,
Where everybody was.
born in a woodshed.
Yeah.
That's where everybody was
Where else
born.
are you gonna be
Didn't
born?
you know that?
Maybe on a wagon or something.
Hospitals were
I
just
don't
multiple
know
woodsheds.
what fancy dream
Maternity
world
ward.
you live in.
All right, and have you figured out how all the pieces fit together, Mr. Monroe?
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
I've figured this out.
What's your theory?
We just need to throw Monroe into that house.
Okay.
Get it done.
We'll get to the bottom of it. All right,
Yep.
So we left
And if he
Dr.
doesn't, that Jinn will definitely be regretting the fact that anybody ever summoned it.
Bound in a paper mache coffin made out of those flyers.
Yeah, Lance Monroe does seem to have a knack for getting critical successes when it comes to his life being on the line.
It all runs out one day, Justin, and I'll be there.
Yep.
I'll be there to point and laugh at Monroe.
Well, hopefully he ends up going the route of Johann and ending up serving some dark deity in his insanity.
So, Dr. Andrews and Whitmire, you were on the second floor of the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight there at the library, looking at a bunch of encyclopedias that had recently been donated by Rupert Merriweather.
Yes.
And you are about to discover something about the Jinn, but not really, because you had failed your roll to see if there was information there.
Yeah.
And as you read through the entry, you know which of the entries are like a page or two long in the encyclopedia. It's mostly what you've already kind of known from just growing up and hearing about Jeannie and whatnot, and then what Monroe has told you or what you've read since then. So there's nothing really new to add into that. But you did find out what the Glund fluid was.
Yeah.
Cerebrospinal fluid.
Yep.
So you'll be needing some of that if you want to make the dust of Ibn Ghazi,
Right.
Did it,
or the special incense that dulls the jinn's cunning.
Well, Dr. Cole always says he wants to help.
And he is a doctor with access to some mental patients.
Oh, yeah, that's even darker. Yeah, let's do that.
So while you guys were split around the library there searching for any good information, it is when you're reading that entry that Dr. Call kind of comes up with his conspiratorial investigative look you've come to know. And he's like, so about this house situation, Dr. Andrews, are we any closer?
I think so. Now that I've discovered what Glund fluid is.
Yes. It's ghastly, though, don't you think?
Yes.
But what are we going to do? Are we going out there tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I'll have to confer with my colleagues on this. I feel like there's more information that I just can't seem to gather due to poor rolls. So I'll have to see what they can come up with.
That's life. There's always more information to gather. At some point, you just have to make a decision.
Yeah, but we can't. We've got to take care if we intend to banish this thing. It must be done correctly.
Well, where else can we look? We've come into this library.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Well, what's next for you, Dr. Andrews?
I don't know.
Time for you to hit the hospital and get some Glund fluid.
But we are going to need some cerebrospinal fluid.
Could.
That would be difficult. Perhaps, cadavers. Maybe some could be harvested that way.
I don't think so. I don't think you can harvest it that way.
But what are you thinking? Pray tell, Doctor.
Lumbar punctures. We can, just take some from people.
Well, it would seem unethical, even if they volunteer to do that. Think of your oaths.
Is it unethical if they volunteer?
Why, I don't think anybody would be in their right mind if they volunteered. I'm not sure how good we are at harvesting that in this era, to be honest. It might be a one-time thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why don't you just get some from see if you get one from a college or, what am I thinking, a mortuary.
Yeah, I was
I'm
right
sure
there
I
with the
can drum
cadaver
some
thing,
up.
too.
Right.
As you guys sit tight, I'll be back in an hour.
But maybe a medicine roll,
Yeah, you could give a medicine roll as you're chatting with Dr. Call.
and then we just make up the whether or not it's what you can do to get it if need be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can get it from corpses. But
Maybe if you had trepanned yourself, the way would be more clear.
Well, why not? It's still got to be some fluid in there, right?
Yeah, give it a shake, turn them upside down.
There's my medicine
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah, you think you could get it from corpses. It would have to be a relatively fresh corpse, though.
Okay.
As you're not sure if putrefaction of any of that would disrupt what is called for. But then again, the ancients weren't able to preserve bodies
That's true.
for a long time, so maybe it just has to be the fluid gathered from the brain.
Yeah. There's a bunch of that stuff like making booze, like all the steps you got to go through. Like
Yeah.
Or
clean,
they didn't
sterile,
have all these moral quandaries and just took it when they needed it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're a giant cult sacrificing people daily, yeah, I don't think you got to worry about it.
Time to call up those boys that helped us in the last
Oh, the
series, the Knights of, what were they?
Hey, kids, we need a body. No problem.
I'm
Pack of
sure where
cigarettes and we'll
they
get
know
you
where
3.
the
Yeah, so I guess, maybe if we got access to a morgue, we could gather what we needed.
Yeah, well,
If we absolutely had to, we could dig up. Wait,
no, I think mortuary would, but you'd have to get it like real
well,
fresh.
if it's been
Yeah.
in like what do they call
Embalmed.
it? Yeah, prepared. I don't think that'll work, Dr. Andrews.
but did Monroe tell anybody yet? No, not Monroe. But
Whitmire.
Glover and Whitmire, did they tell anybody about all the corpses they found?
Mm-hmm. But you don't know that.
Yeah, because Glover, you've only told, or didn't you guys discuss it at your?
I talked to the homicide detective that stopped me this morning at breakfast.
Yeah, but
Burton. No, it's like no, that's Meriwether's kid.
but we did have.
Randall Bell.
Are you
I
saying
think you at
mean-
least mentioned the one that Whitmire found because you were like, tell him Whitmire, and John was just like, it was a body. Here's his ID.
Oh no, like talked about the bodies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember
amongst
if I
the group,
did.
we did have dinner after everyone got back.
Yeah, they know about the bodies, but I thought he was asking if I told anyone about the bodies
Oh, gotcha.
outside of the group.
No, just amongst each other.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can think in that direction that there is a bunch of undiscovered corpses in an abandoned train depot down by Ross's Corner. Maybe it could be gathered there. Dr. Call says, well, we definitely have the means to get a cadaver. We're both doctors.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know somebody. I'd have to do a little bit of digging, but I dare say I could find somebody as well.
There might even be a corpse storage area in the hospital itself, right?
Yeah, right. Like
Well, is that the kind of thing that they might have for testing purposes at like a medical college?
Maybe, but it would require another sort of role to source it that way.
Yeah. They might not be as fresh too. Whereas at a hospital, you might be able to just sneak in and get someone that has a sheet just put over them.
But I was treating the cache of corpses at the train depot as Andrew's internal thinking, and Dr. Call's not privy to it yet.
Right.
So.
That said, I believe the corpses were aged to a point. Because
They did have varying levels of dry aging.
That said,
We find the most recent.
you might be able to not reconstitute. Where would that be the right word? I don't know if it would be, but you might be able to do
Mix
something.
it with a little water and shake it.
Basically.
Although every time we go out there, we risk running into whatever did that.
Yeah.
It's not my problem.
Yeah, there is an open question there that you don't know what the state of the freshest body was. Although you might infer that at least one of them was pretty fresh based off of their narrative.
Smell, yeah.
Still juicy.
That said, you could probably just go stand out on a street corner, Brandon, and you might cause
That's true.
a car
Somebody
accident.
could die from my
Yeah.
bad luck. Yeah.
And from Whitmire's perspective, there is, at this time, I seem to remember there was quite a bit of a fresh corpse trade amongst medical schools and things like that, where like the poor would sell
like
the
I
bodies
said,
of...
give me about an hour and I can get you some.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that is probably the avenue I would take. I would talk to Whitmire and see what he can shake up.
Okay, well, he's there in the library with you.
Yeah.
He was, he had kind of went to look at other parts of the shelves because he couldn't stand watching you handle those encyclopedias knowing their value. So he just had to walk away. But yeah, you can run the idea by him, Whitmire.
Yeah. So based on what I found, this Glun fluid that we're going to need is cerebrospinal fluid. So the best place to get that would be from fresh corpses.
Okay.
So see if you can find any fresh corpses.
Or do you just want the fluid?
Or just the fluid, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get you one or the other.
We might need medical.
I'll start eyeballing Dr. Call.
Extraction. All right.
What was there any indication of how much fluid would be needed from the...
It depends on how much of the incense you wanted to prepare because it needed to be at a ratio of 1 part Glun fluid to 10 parts, whatever your incense was comprised of.
Yeah.
And according to the breakdown on the ceremony,
Several hours.
hold on, I'm spacing the author's name. Anyhow, the author of the De Vermis Mysterious said it wasn't important. You'd use whichever incense that you favored. It just had to be infused with the Glun fluid for it to actually work.
Right.
So if you bought some incense from Lamar or something, how much ever you bought would determine how much of the Glun fluid you'd need.
Yeah.
And how long you would want it to burn for, obviously.
Okay. So we shouldn't need too much of it. If it's 1 part of that to 10 parts, the incense will burn for what, like an hour? How long do those stupid little things last?
I think we'd have to figure out how long the ritual is supposed to last.
Well, according to Dr. Andrews' translation, it was chanting until enough will had been gathered was the words used by the writer. So it has sort of an open end on it.
Okay.
Because if you're binding or subjugating a powerful spirit, then it's about overcoming the spirit and not about the duration necessarily. So as long as needed.
So POW checks probably or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to ask last time was because there was something about assigning a watcher. Was it a capital W or is it just a person who is going to watch out?
Just a person,
Okay.
yeah. Or not a watcher, like a spirit. Yeah, it was the role, although I suppose you didn't read it, it was the role filled by Meriwether when they did their ritual all those years ago. But the translation seems to remark that it's because the whole ceremony draws lesser spirits. In fact, I can give you a handout because you were able to finish that up before you left Andrews that shows some of the differences between the rituals. These were the notes you made when you were looking through both copies. So you had like the cursed version and then the Widner version. And so you had, so long as the circle be correct and none enter, then the entity shall not harm the being directly. Whereas the Widner version says, so long as the circle be correct and none enter the innermost, then the entity shall not harm the being directly. At another point, it says, a sacrifice of blood shall be offered beside the circle upon whatever altar is thy desire. And the Widner version says, a sacrifice of human blood shall be offered beside the circle upon whatever altar is thy desire. In the cursed version, it says, at matins, which you understand to be midnight, the supplicants shall begin to chant. And then in the Widner version, it just says, at the appointed hour, the supplicants shall begin to chant. And also in the cursed version, this copy of the text includes a footnote that reads, see wards against lesser spirits. When it had...
What language is this? I can't read any of this.
It's not in a language you can read.
No, I'm just making a statement that it's in cursive.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You want me to put just the regular
Yeah,
text?
I need a Google Translate here.
Put it in Comic Sans.
So to your eye, that seems to be a comprehensive list of the differences, at least that you don't write off as to be minor, or typos.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume that the cursed version is the true version.
Okay, so we're in the library. Whitmire has assured you he can get a body. And so I think we'll pause there for a moment and we'll go over to Mr. Monroe and Detective Glover. Now, you guys had arranged to meet when you had finished up in the library and then to go on and confront Bertrand Merriweather. And in that time, while you were finishing up your translations, Glover had learned that he had an address here in Boston, a condo. So you know where to go, and I don't think you were going on to do anything else.
Well, I was
but meet each other
waiting for
to hear back from
the sheriff.
Hooper.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard anything back that day. And it's a frustration you run into a lot for trying to get work done on Sundays, as if it has to go through official means. A lot of places just aren't open. So by the time that you meet up with Monroe, you haven't heard anything. But
right.
there you both are together.
Was it afternoon?
Yeah, I think you arranged for like a 5:30 some odd time.
Yeah.
Afternoon, Monroe.
Good afternoon. How has your day been?
Mostly just treading pavement, trying to get everything in line. I found a place where Merriweather's kid works, a condo, so I got an address. We arranged for it. Ain't heard nothing back from the sheriff, though.
Okay. Well, should we go try and say hi and see if we can tease out a little bit of what he's doing and why he's fighting this?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're kind of wasting our time, but might as well.
Well, at the very least, we can ask him a few questions about the lawsuit that he's bringing.
That said, be careful. He's a lawyer. Was it disbarred? Was that what he was?
Right, yeah, recently.
Disbarred recently, but
What was he disbarred for?
do I know that off the top of my head?
You didn't have that information.
Couldn't get it.
Interesting. All right.
So, but just be careful, because he knows the law. Nothing more dangerous than someone who knows the law and is willing to come at you with the full authority of it. So, don't step on too many toes, or we might find ourselves in deeper water than we want to get into.
Understandable.
Yeah, and I'll
Right.
maybe flag a cab or hop on a trolley, whatever's closest.
Yeah. We can just use public transportation, trolley or bus or whatever.
Okay, like I said, Glover had found that he had an address that was back in Boston, so you head back across the Charles River and into a building that's been divided up into units. So when you go into this building, you come down into a lobby in which they have like a desk person, working the desk. And usually how it works is the rest of the building is secure. Like you can't just walk up to the units and start knocking on doors. You have to get like approval to come on up the elevator or be let into the stairwell. So if you're doing it above level, then you would have to go that way and talk to the desk person.
Well, might as well try and go through the proper means. So yeah, go up and introduce myself and hand him a flyer and say that we're here to meet Mr. Merriweather and to discuss a legal matter.
Okay, so yeah, he listens quietly and then he turns around or looks at his desk and picks up the receiver to a telephone, and he phones up to presumably Merriweather's room, and you don't hear what Merriweather says, right? But you just hear his end, and he's like, okay, all right. And he says, go on up.
Thank you.
Well, Detective, it's starting off better than I had anticipated.
I guess we'll see. Based on how he was acting at the reading, I don't think this is going to go well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who knows? We might butter you up, try to buy the place.
My charm tends to disarm most people, so we'll see how things go.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Do you prefer the stairs or the elevator?
I don't feel the same cursed feeling that
No.
Andrews does, so
I
But
prefer the elevator.
oh wait, you
Yeah,
missed
elevator.
it because he was mumbling about everybody's lost their luster.
yeah.
But you missed it. You didn't get the listen roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't feel anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I think I prefer the stairs up, or the elevator up and the stairs down. I don't want to show up to try to question someone and,
Huffing and puffing.
yeah.
Well, they had a young man standing by the elevator, so he operates it for you, takes you up to the appropriate floor, which ends up being on the 8th floor.
Give him a quarter.
Right.
Yeah. And a flyer.
Where do you keep those?
Everywhere.
Think he'll stop a bullet?
I probably have enough in my coat jacket that maybe.
Might have to talk to Sergeant, what's his name? Sergeant,
Oh, Terry?
Terry,
Yeah.
Might have to talk to Sergeant Terry, see if we can get our uniforms lined.
But no, I won't give one to the elevator guy, but I will give one to the desk guy, see if there's a place for postings that they have in the lobby that he could post it.
Oh, yeah, they have like a community board.
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah, you could put one on there.
Well, you talk to him. I'll take a walk around the place, see if I can see anything.
All right, I'll trust your eyes to catch anything that mine would otherwise miss.
I'll point to the one I squint through all the time.
Fair enough. All right.
All right, so when you get up to that floor, each floor is like divided into 4 units, right? So you go in to the appropriate one. So he was like 802 is his unit, and you're standing outside the door there. You can both give me a listen roll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of hold up a finger and kind of just stop Monroe and start listening.
So you can hear and you even recognize the sort of blustering sound of Bertrand Merriweather talking in there, but it sounds like he's having a conversation. You don't pick out any of the responses. So just something you hear from within the unit, right? Like it doesn't sound like he's yelling. It just sounds because he was kind of just loud in general. So it sounds like that.
Anything particular that he's saying, or is it just
It's kind of wah, 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 right? But you know it's him because you've heard his voice before, but you're not able to pick out you'll get a syllable here and there, but not able to make out what exactly is being said.
Yeah, should have rolled a critical. I'll motion to Monroe to open the door or knock.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, having not heard anything myself, I'll kind of shrug and knock on the door.
Okay. Yeah. So after you hear the footfalls draw closer to the door, and then it opens, and there you see Bertrand Merriweather, which he's in a bathrobe at the moment.
Okay.
And he has like a scotch glass in one hand, and you smell like cigarette smoke from within the apartment. And his face is flushed, and it goes a deeper shade of red on seeing you two. And he's like, if it isn't the sycophants and and charlatans.
Well, I apologize for your feelings that way, but I was hoping to rectify some possible misgivings that you might have for us and find a way to amicably work out this issue with your father's property.
Well, unless you're going to return my family's property, I don't see how we're going to work that out.
Well, I'm afraid that, he did gift it to us, but if there are things there or anything that is of personal and sentimental value, then we can work together to make sure that you retrieve anything that's, emotionally attached to out of the property. But for the most part, I believe we hope to set up this property to fulfill your father's legacy.
Okay, give me a spot hidden.
Hey, I got one.
Oh, yeah. I'll be kind of behind Monroe, kind of just looking off around like the halls or whatnot, smoking my cigar.
So, Monroe, you see that like he's at the end of a long hall that comes to the door into his condo, and it looks like it opens into a living room or a sitting area where he has a collection of wingback chairs, and the one with its back to you, so you can't see who's sitting in it, does appear to be occupied. You see like a limp hand hung on the armrest with a cigarette, the smoke kind of coming off of it. But
appear to be male, female?
Appears to be male, you think. Right?
Okay. Can I tell any kind of distinguishing features? Like, are they wearing like a suit or is it more casual atmosphere?
It looks like a suit. It's hard for you to pick out more than that, though, with just a regular success. But Bertrand's like, fine, come in. I guess I can hear what you have to say. I don't have anything to do for the rest of the day. Might as well be entertained.
All right. Thank you for entertaining us. I know that this was short notice, and we appreciate your candor and your leniency in dealing with us at this late hour.
Can I get you something to drink? A smoke?
Quite all right for right now, but perhaps in a little while, depending on how this conversation goes. I would, prefer to speak clearly and plainly without any interruptions.
So he starts leading you into that sitting room, like you come down this hallway, and he says, I've been hearing just how reprehensible you are, Mr. Monroe, but from my friend here, and he gestures at the wingback chair, and from that chair stands a figure who you don't recognize at first, except by his white linen suit.
White linen suit.
But the person wearing that suit looks not like a person at all, but he's gaunt, almost corpse. He looks like he's just gotten out of the sick room.
Corbett.
But all the veins on his skin have black lines running through them, almost like blood poisoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Mr. Monroe, I didn't expect to see you here. It's Augustus Larkin.
Augustus Larkin.
Father works in mysterious ways. I guess I'll take it. And let's have spot hidden or psychology from both of you. Whichever you're better at.
I'm technically better at spotting the hidden.
Yeah, me as well.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh. All right. So he had that cigarette in his right hand, sort of limply held there, and you can see all the veins that run along the wrist before the suit cuts off. Vision are all black, and he looks beyond terrible, worse than when you saw him, earlier this year. He doesn't even look like he could be living, but very quickly with his left hand, he just dips his hand into his jacket and produces a small revolver, and he has it on you. I'll be needing the golden mask now.
So unfortunately, I don't have it.
But I'm almost certain you know who does.
Now, I'm trying to remember, do I know that Whitmire has it?
That's a good question. Does he know Whitmire?
Because I thought that it disappeared in transit as far as the rest of us.
That might have been what he said. That's why I'm
It
getting...
did for Stanton. Because
Yeah.
Stanton was trying to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody should know that I have that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll say that to him and say that I truly wish I knew where it was myself. I had planned on, investigating it a little bit more, but it disappeared on transit back to the United States.
All right. Psychology roll again. I'll give you a bonus die, though, Detective Glover.
All right.
I will use the 4 points of luck to.
Was it number of dice is what number do I
You
put?
put in 2,
Okay.
so it's the total amount of dice you're going to be rolling, basically.
Nice.
Oh,
And you use the luck?
Yeah. And I don't get a check on ones I use luck on, right?
No.
Okay.
It does, as you're saying that, and you're looking, you see something rising in his eyes, resolve, basically. You recognize it very well, Detective Glover. It's somebody resolving to pull the trigger, basically, right? But this dries up what you're saying, and it gives you an opportunity to think of a better tactic, because just outright denial is about to get you shot.
I will try and use Father's power. Father's suggestion, or what was it? The
Yeah,
Father's imposed suggestion on him.
that's fine. You know, it takes a couple of rounds.
does he get a psychology check on me?
Yeah, if you want to try something.
I'm trying to think of what I'd do. I think, man, there's a part of me that wants to kind of push Monroe if that guy's about to shoot, maybe get Monroe safe. But I'm definitely thinking about drawing and shooting him.
Yeah, well, once Monroe kind of trailed off at some point, and maybe you were like, okay,
He's
trying to
calming
get by
down.
yourself some time, you see things relax for a minute, right?
Yeah.
But what did you want to do, Glover? Just watch for now, or?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a good angle on him. So I'm going to step away from Monroe, who's the focal point of his ire, and get ready to draw down and shoot him if it looks like he's going to go for it.
But yeah, I'll say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Shooting me isn't going to get you any closer to the mask.
And you'll kind of begin your spell.
Yeah.
Start turning on that Monroe charm.
Yeah. Kind of speaking, and, I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, I'll be trying to look him deeper and deeper into the eyes
Right.
as I'm talking. Like, you and I both know that, Father can be a very imposing master, but this is not the way for you to obtain what you're looking for.
So Bertrand, he's like, what is going on here? I won't have anybody killed in my apartment, Mr. Larkin.
That's
You just said you wanted to know some information, and you had some interesting things to tell me about them. Put your gun away, sir. And Larkin's just like, shut up, you twit. All right. Okay, so you start, as we've described in the past, you start sort of sending out this dark tendril, which is really just metaphorical, but you just do feel like a connection is formed, and it doesn't leave you with a good feeling. That's why dark is a good descriptor, because you kind of get in there and you start, massaging your way into the psyche of this person. But give me a power roll.
All right. Here we go. Any bonuses?
No.
No. Okay, good. Hard success. Barely hard success, but a hard success.
Okay, so normally there's some resistance, and there's this massaging down of the resistance to your efforts, but doesn't seem to be as much with Larkin. In fact, it seems like you're almost being funneled in a certain direction in your attempts. Like you're almost being coaxed into it.
Okay. Is this the kind of
But
thing
we
that,
could
that
say
should
it's-
concern me?
It's unusual. You've had people, which there's always resistance, some less, some more, but always there. You had the Kari Siri, which seemed to immediately obey Father,
Yeah.
and you could do it almost instantaneously. So this is a totally new thing.
Okay. Oh, crap. Can I make an intelligence roll or an occult roll to kind of...
He's a honeypot.
Yeah, see if this is just drawing me in for... to recapture my mind or something along those lines?
That's what it feels like. It gives you an itch between your psychological shoulder blades.
All right. Yeah, at that I'll kind of pull back on it.
Clever boy, Monroe. Now, you know where the mask is. You know someone who knows where it is. A name.
I honestly don't know where it is, but we can talk about it. I can talk you through who was transporting the goods. I can talk you through all the locations it's gone through, and perhaps you can track it down. I can give you the information that I have, but I am honest when I say I don't know where it is.
All right. So from your perspective, Glover, as you're watching this, you see the tonal shift in Monroe's voice seems to be the correct move from this Larkin's perspective. He doesn't seem on the verge of capping him. So he at least has his attention by what Monroe's saying from your observation there in the back as you're looking. And you're kind of seeing Merriweather, who kind of went up against the wall and he like just put his hands up instinctively. He's kind of like sidling a little bit. He was like in Larkin's peripheral, but he's kind of like sidling, like trying to get out of there. Observe for now, or in a situation where somebody has a gun on you, very difficult to get out of that. Mechanically, when you have a gun ready, you have like a bonus for deciding to fire that gun. So basically, you have to be able to defeat that heightened state if you wanted to do like a draw and fire on somebody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, trying to diffuse it a little bit more. I'll say, if you'd like, we can sit down and I can begin going over everything that had happened since we left the pyramids in Peru.
You sit down, Mr. Monroe. I know I can't trust anything that you've said to me. You left me to die, and all I wanted was to get rid of this blasted curse.
I am afraid that we had to leave you behind, but matters being what they were, we had to protect ourselves. I'm sure that you can understand that. There were matters having to deal with the mask that drove us deeper into Peru.
Well, have a seat. And you too, stranger. Sorry to meet under such strange circumstances. And don't move any more, Merriweather. You have a seat as well. Everybody just sit down, and we'll find out where the mask is together.
I kind of want to just even the playing field.
Do Mexican standoff type thing? Just draw and...
Yeah.
But kind of slightly flippantly, I'll say, Mr. Merriweather, I think I'll take that drink now.
That'll have to wait, Merriweather. So, yeah, he's like kind of keeping his gun on you, trying to move you guys around to the room, or I suppose let you pass. He takes a step back into the sitting room to let you sort of funnel across to have a seat, right? He does seem to keep it mostly trained on Monroe at this point.
Yeah, that's why I haven't drawn my gun yet. Like, I think I'll get the shot off. I don't got a problem there. It's that he'll probably kill Monroe if I do.
So do I recognize that he's kind of keyed up and might do something?
Yeah.
Kind of do like a psychology check or spot or something.
Oh, you mean Glover?
Yeah, Glover.
He's pretty good at playing it cool.
Okay.
So yeah, if you wanted to see that layer, I think you'd have to pass the psychology.
All right. Yeah.
Unless you're going to try to do some sort of innuendo to communicate something, right?
But like, I know that he's a police officer, but I also know that Larkin's... Ooh.
So I suppose from everything that has happened thus far, I would say that you're definitely seeing Glover look for any angle.
Okay.
Right. But he doesn't seem like he's on the verge of anything. Is that fair to say, Glover?
Yeah.
So kind of seeing that, I'll try and possibly present an opportunity for him by, going to like the far chair or something like that, so that perhaps, Larkin has to turn his back to them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Can I pick up on that? Like I was already kind of trying to keep myself kind of apart from Monroe anyway, so.
But yeah, as I'm going there, I'll be saying, just let Mr. Glover go. I won't say detective. I'll say Mr.
Right.
Specifically. He has nothing to do with this. He doesn't understand anything that you're talking about. So please just let him go, and I'll be
You'll
talking.
try to move hunt him.
Yeah, I'll be trying to keep his focus directly on me as I'm moving to the side.
Oh, I hope we can all walk out of here standing, Mr. Monroe. But that chair will do fine right there, the one you're by.
All right. Okay, so that doesn't happen.
But you could try, if you can think of a skill you could put in there to, I'm trying to think,
Yeah, do
like some sort of bumbling
charm.
or something like that they could buy.
Charm,
Acting.
persuasion, fast talk. With those
Whitmire's coming in with an idea. golden idea.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Sounds like a Whitmire.
Okay, that is it'd be like, can I use the bathroom? No. If there's how are the chairs? Like, yeah, how is the room?
So there were only 3 chairs.
Okay.
And they were all kind of situated around a center table for putting, like drinks on and whatnot. And then there's a fireplace at the end of one of the chairs. So you had one chair facing back down the hallway, and the other 2 are kind of
off to the side.
Off to the side. So whoever was sitting in those 2 would be to the side on each side of the fireplace.
Okay.
So like he kind of moved in, and he told you to just sit right there in that closest chair, basically.
Okay.
So your back would be to the hallway and Detective Glover.
Is there a fire in the fireplace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, it's like August. There isn't one currently. Yeah. Let's say no.
So yeah, racking my brain for anything.
Well,
are there any mirrors in the room?
Sure. Yeah.
Is one of them like facing one of the chairs? Because like the idea I'm thinking of is bringing up the fact that Father does appear in reflective surfaces, and me kind of using that as an excuse to say I don't want that to my back.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a mirror,
and like toss out a charm or something like that for it, or
sure. Yeah, charm would.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Like I said before, when Lance's life is on the line, he suddenly succeeds at stuff he would have otherwise failed. But
okay, so yeah, you move him, so he's like, fine, the other chair if you must. You always were such a primping fool, weren't you? But yeah, so you're able to move over to the other chair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of gives a slight opportunity if you're willing to take it, Glover. It won't be as difficult. Dex check if you want to get your gun out and on him before he's able to fire a shot. Okay, so you've gotten Larkin to allow you to move to a chair that's further in the apartment, and that for a moment causes the gun barrel to be pointed the furthest it's been from you so far, Detective Glover. So you do see an opportunity. However, it is risky to get your gun out and on him if you want to go that route. But it is also, we're kind of going in turn order, so if you want to interject at this stage in any way, now would be the time to do it. Or you can continue to observe.
Man. Part of me is kind of curious, because Homicide Detective Bro did tell me that they seem to be getting up to some real shady stuff. And so this is kind of a glimpse into it. Apparently whatever they do, people want to kill them over it.
You're starting to understand that about Monroe, though.
I already understood that. It doesn't take long.
Day
with
one.
Monroe.
Day one.
Man, let's go for it. I'll say I'm not trying to like draw and ready.
Right.
I'm just going to try to just kind of pull it out, casually have it aimed
Okay.
his direction during the time. So
Yeah, so that just comes into... Alternatively, you could use stealth, if that's a little better than Dex.
it is. It's
Given
way
the
better.
way you described it, it's more of a nonchalant movement that he might not catch. I mean, you're not quite only in his peripheral, but...
All right, here we go. Stealth. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
So I'll what is it like? Was it? He was introduced as Mr. Larkin by Merriweather, I believe.
Yes.
Right, my
Yeah.
friend, Mr. Larkin. Okay.
Yeah.
So all things being fair, Mr. Larkin, I think I'll just hold you at gunpoint till this conversation's over, and I'll cock the hammer.
So yeah, you kind of see a defeated look flash over his face for a moment, but then his features grow stern and imperious. But most unsettling is his eyes flash from their normal hazel green to completely black.
Is there anything that I would immediately jump into mind, like, you know, the kid's smacked out of his gourd? It's obvious, drug addict.
Well, yeah, I mean, that when these guys were first interacting with Larkin, that was the conclusion they came to, and seeing, you know, the way his veins look you would maybe think the same thing, except he doesn't look, I should actually say he smells pretty awful too, like tainted meat, like a rotting corpse. He looks like a corpse. But yeah, then his features, such as they are, become imperious and stern, and the eyes just turn to a solid liquid black, which is actually worth a sanity roll.
All right.
From both of you. It's not a big hit if you fail, but...
Yeah, I think my cigar will kind of almost start to slip out of my mouth, and I'll say something along the lines of, like, you should get that looked at. But the gun I'll keep leveled if abled. I think
So you both made it?
Yeah, I think I'm working on, like, cop training brain, like,
Right.
right now, so it's not quite...
Well, you don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, you both lose 0 sanity for succeeding on that roll. It is unsettling nonetheless, but you keep your composure, which will bring us to Monroe. So you definitely have your gun leveled on him, and he hasn't swung it in any way or started to fire anything, but he just looks at you with that angry, imperious look, black eyes. But Monroe, what do you want to do at this stage, or anything?
For some reason, I picture him immediately gloating.
See, there is crazy stuff.
No, not that. The fact that he now is either on equal footing or potentially has the upper hand.
No. Actually, he's trying to gonna continue trying to downplay things and say, Larkin, this curse of yours. If there's any people that can help, it's the people that you are now seeking. Bertrand's father had a lot of information about various curses, various things, various supernatural occurrences, and he had a wealth of information at his fingertips. If you want to be free of this curse, then help us rather than try and get back to exactly what you had been seeking before.
So
don't end up like Mendoza. Or what was his name? Was it Mendoza? The guy that we chopped up into pieces and dumped in the ocean.
That's exactly what I'm trying not to do. That's why I had my gun on you guys. I know how you work, Monroe. You just turn people into mincemeat. Okay.
Oh, man, just after I told a cop that there's no way you guys are murderers.
I had nothing to do with the murder. I was actually advocating for keeping him alive.
Yeah, who was it? It was Saucedo and... What, right? Nicholas
Saucedo and Staten.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two were like, nope, we're killing him.
Mm.
All right. So you expect Larkin's voice that it's actually Kenyan from the Kenyan colonies there. He's British, but that has that slight affectation to it. You expect that in his response, but no, it is the voice of Father from when you met him in the Tenebrous place, and he just says, "Silence, worm. You are all worms." And let's see here. We gotta see how it's gonna play out. So, what's your dex if you're going to fire? You get. Oh, I guess I can figure it out. Jack Glover
40
is going to fire. Well, I had it all figured out.
So what would it be? Is it Constitution plus 50? Or
it's
Dex
just your
plus
Dex
50?
plus 50.
So
yeah,
90.
91. Or yeah, 90. Okay. So you're pretty sure he is going to do something. But in the case of what he's going to do, it also works like a firearm, and he comes in at a little higher than you. But you can, when it is your turn, still react to it. But
if sanity holds.
Yeah, basically he's putting the mojo on you, Monroe. You just suffer a terrible mental assault, causing the immediate loss of 5 points of sanity. No sanity roll, or no sanity roll, it's just automatic. And you immediately go into your temporary insanity. From your perspective, though, you lose the sensation of being in that room, the sights, the smells, except the tainted meat remains. And you're in a dark place all of a sudden, and it's squishy. It feels squishy and warm wherever you're at. But we'll leave you there for a moment, and we'll go to Glover. So yeah, he speaks in some language you don't understand after he says, "Silence, worms, you're all worms," right? He starts intoning something, and there's nothing really visible that you can see, although when you look at Monroe, his eyes are kind of, they're all dazed looking, right? So something has occurred, you're not sure what it is your turn to do something if
Could
you want
the
to.
intonation be threatening?
Oh yeah, it definitely.
Okay.
Everything he said sounded threatening.
Yeah, we'll figure. Worst comes to worst, we'll just fire a round off from his gun after. So I will. What is it? Penalty die for shooting multiple rounds?
Yes, but bonus die given that it's such close quarters. So
Negation.
yeah.
All right, so let's put 2 rounds into him.
Okay.
Or try to. Okay. Oh, it's like sorry, wrong thing, right? The damage.
Well, you can keep the roll, but
Okay.
you can roll that other one for damage.
Is it just the whole thing? So there's 1. And do I need to roll again for the second round, or
Yeah, go ahead because we
Did it
need
do
2
it?
damages. Yeah.
where's the damage?
Yeah, it's 2.
Okay. All right. And so second round. Ooh.
Well, you can use luck if you wish. That would be 13 points.
57. Yeah. Almost back down to where I started. So
For a total of 8 damage.
yeah. I don't like the full roller. I think I'm just going to stick with skill. And then...
All right, so you hit him twice, center mass. They penetrate his flesh and he falls, collapses on the ground. Let me give him a constitution roll here.
Mm-hmm.
But he stays conscious. But when he falls to the ground and you're looking to see that you killed him or put him down for good, you can see that blackness has left his eyes, and now what you had seen first, those hazel green eyes that Larkin had, are there, and he's sort of dazed, looking around the room, and kind of the gun fell from his hands when he fell,
Yeah.
and he's putting his hands over his body, and he's like,
Can I go kick the gun further away and keep him at gunpoint?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So while he's doing that, okay, I'll.
right. Yeah, so you got your gun on. You're standing over him with your gun on him, and he's looking at you, but he kind of doesn't really see you too well, right? Like he's searching, trying to lock onto something, but eventually he does fix his gaze on there, and you see sort of a strange, almost like relief on his features now, and he's like, "Father, he's gone. He's finally gone," and some more groaning, and then he says, "Tell Monroe." The stars are almost right.
Oh no!
First is the prophet, then the crawling chaos, and then his eyes sort of flutter and roll back, and then you get agonal breathing from that point. So just
Yeah, I'll be yelling at.
and then Merriweather's just like he's kind of like
Yeah, I'll yell at Merriweather. Like, oh man, I figure this place has a phone probably, or at the very least a way to get down. Quick.
yeah. He had a
message.
phone
Yeah.
up here that he responded to when
All right. Merriweather, get on the horn and what is it? Call. What do we have at this? What would I tell someone to call to get medical or police here?
yeah. I think you would dial the operator and have him send some police or whatever you
Okay.
want, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Merriweather, get on the horn. Have the operator get police down here. Police and medical.
Yeah, he's like, right. But he stops by that table to fill up his scotch glass before he goes over to and he takes a big swig of it, and he's busy doing that, and Larkin is busy dying, but Monroe, so you're in the tenebrous place where it
Okay.
just feels squishy. What do you want to do? Smells like tainted meat.
So this immediately reminds me of being in the dungeon of Peru, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, first thing, he'll try and take his bearings, kind of reach out physically, see if, tentatively, that kind of like slowly reaching out, see if there's anything in any direction, and see if he comes in physical contact with anything.
Yeah, you start to feel like your hands fall onto squishy, soapy feeling substances. It's very slippery, but they do fall on something firm, shape. You're not sure what. You think after a little bit of groping, you think it's somebody's leg.
Okay. So does it feel like a live leg? Like,
Yeah, like there's warmth.
like pliable
to it.
and warmth?
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, I'll say hello. Yeah, just try and...
Right. For a moment, you're deafened by the too close roar of Father, very nearby, you think. But there's a kind of a light, a sickly greenish light that your eyes are becoming accustomed to, and it's not all dim now. And you're starting to make out the shape of a person sort of covered in this fat-like substance. And as you're groping up to him, you can kind of make out their features, and you realize that it's Charles Stanton.
Okay.
And his eyes are open, and they kind of roll towards you, and he's like, "Monroe, we never made it out. We never made it out, Monroe."
Nice.
All right, but we'll pause you there for a sec. Now, you've had this ability to control the minds of people, and you didn't understand it fully. It was imparted to you by Father. You learned a rudimentary way of replicating it once his blessing had left you. But the way that it works, this coaxing of another person's mind, is that you actually understand that their psyche so well that it imprints a version of it into your own mind. That's how you're able to coax them so well. So the Monroe back in Meriwether's apartment, from your perspective, Glover, the eyes now become focused.
Okay.
And the way we're going to play his bout of insanity is that these psyches that he's messed with, these impressions come to the fore and will battle for control over the meat Monroe. So there are a few that we're going to use, and if you guys are willing, you can fill the shoes of these psyches that are going to come to the fore. So we actually have Father's impression, so what you guys know to be a trans-dimensional being of great power. We have the psyche of a Spanish conquistador from the 1500s, and we have the psyche of James Whitmire. So we know that Whitmire can play Whitmire, but what do you favor, Brandon?
Yeah, I'll be a conquistador.
And so you're going to be the interdimensional being. You knew you began life as a man, but you found great powers, and you rose in stature and fame until you became the pharaoh of all Egypt, some call the Black Pharaoh. And so, yeah, you'll just kind of have to play with it a little bit.
All right, we'll see what I come up with.
But we're going to see who has control of Monroe first, and you guys can play them however you want to.
Because it's Monroe's perception to a point of...
Yeah, like in Monroe, you can even roll to gain control of it. So everybody do a power roll. Let me give you, in your particular case, who's playing the Dark Pharaoh, your power is 500, so...
Oh, good God.
But it'll even out. He'll probably just get the first crack at it. But yeah, so you're rolling against 500. Whitmire, you use your own power. And then the Conquistador has a power of 60.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, so you just roll from your character.
Would it be 1d 500 or 5d 100?
Well, you just roll the D100, right?
D100 versus 500.
Yeah,
okay.
and pretty much you're always getting an extreme success, I believe, right? 1/5.
1d
I was extremely successful.
100.
Do I get bonus or penalty?
You just get your normal power.
Okay. So yeah, just regular success there.
So I got a 10.
So that's a critical success for him, isn't it?
No, critical's always just one. I know in RuneQuest it widens out a little bit, but because he can still fail this
Yeah,
roll.
be it extreme.
Yeah, so he got an extreme success, but so did Whitmire, of course. But the skill of 500 beats an 85. So we'll start with the Black Pharaoh. So you are sitting in a chair. You see a man holding a gun on somebody who's dying. You see another man taking a big drink from some amber liquid, right? He's gulping it down, and now he's moving over to a phone. And your very last memory was being enshrined by your enemies, like being entombed. And they had put spells on you to hold you for thousands of years, you know. Somehow your enemies had got the better of you. So from that moment, being entombed to now being in a room where everything looks strange, what does basically a god do, or at least a demigod?
Does he have powers, or is it just the psyche?
Well, you do.
Or the yeah, you know, like...
Yeah, you have Monroe's power. In fact,
okay.
you have a deeper understanding of it, and where you can do it to multiple people at once.
I find this in entertainment lacking. You two, tear each other apart.
This is to Merriweather and Glover.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, you can go ahead and make a power roll again.
All right.
And make one for Glover as well.
All right, 70. Glover power is low. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I think he views this as like exercising a muscle that has begun to atrophy. It's just the simplest little push, and I think he's feeling that this should completely, like, or maybe back in when he was in his prime, this would have completely obliterated their mind.
Right, yeah.
You know, type of thing. But now he's just seeing if he can get him to do what he wants immediately without question.
Yeah, you do have that sense of waking up. You know there are more powers that you had access to, basically unlimited power, or at least the people of the day were fooled into believing, but that one was there at the ready, and you use it, and to your great satisfaction, you immediately affect them, you know, in that way that I've described to Monroe, where you just basically touch their brain with some dark tendril of your own psyche, and they look at each other with murder in their eyes and then advanced on one another.
I think he's disappointed because of what I said. This should have completely just blasted them away, like their mind. But now he's almost strained to even get them to do this type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you want?
Where do you want to go from there? They start fighting each other.
Okay.
I think that in the final analysis, so we don't have to roll it out, Glover's got the best of Merriweather. You just have the size on him. So. And he has a gun in his hand.
He'll attempt to keep Larkin bound in some fashion. That would be his next thing. He needs servants. This one is dead, but it's not done.
Okay, so give me... what's the EDU for Glover, so you can use your character sheet?
Education?
Yeah.
85.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that. So you do recall something about how to keep things in stasis or keep the flow of time from affecting them. You know, some eldritch means. And just with that recollection, like I said, it's like waking up. You're trying to grasp it. Memories you haven't thought about in a long time, but you think you got it right. And so you stop him from... he's like frozen there in one agonal breath, and the blood just...
Is he still kind of conscious?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not going anywhere yet.
Okay.
And I'll freeze him. And I hope he remains conscious of his stasis. It's like some sort of hell prison where he's just entombed.
Yeah, I mean, his physical body is somewhat detached as he's going through death throes, but the psyche still remains, and you get a sense of terrible dread as it recoils from...
I hope his death throes, the pain from it, is
it's
a constant now.
Yeah, it's stretched out, yeah. Yeah, and he had already been in a state of long death, because unlike human corruption, which ultimately destroys the thing that is built, perfect corruption continues to die forever, right? Which was something Larkin was already experiencing. But so you set that into effect while these two men are locked in mortal combat before you, you know. But we'll go ahead and have Whitmire pop in to the consciousness now. All right, Whitmire. So you had been talking to Monroe in the Hotel España in Lima, Peru. You'd been having a conversation. You had a slight disagreement about something. You were keeping things close to your chest, just like you do. And somehow that slimy devil gets you to start talking. But in the blink of an eye, you're not in the hotel room anymore, although you're in a room that looks like it could be in a nice hotel. But yeah, you're standing before a man on the ground While two men are locked in combat
Larkin.
with
He
each other.
recognized Larkin.
Yeah, you would recognize Larkin. You see Larkin, the man who had hired you. At this stage, you haven't quite really fully come into being suspicious of him, but there was something a little off just at that first meeting you guys had with him. But now he's lying on the ground, apparently shot in the chest, and two men are locked in combat. Merryweather's attempted to smash his scotch glass across some other person you don't know. I guess you don't know either men.
Does Merryweather's son resemble him enough?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like a de-aged Merryweather.
There is something familiar about the younger man who's attempting to brain the older man with a scotch glass. But that's where you are. What are you going to do, Whitmire?
Well, I guess I would just kind of observe the situation, see how it unfolds, and as long as there's nothing directly affecting me,
Slink up against the wall and start shimmying out.
yeah, I mean, looks like someone's got a copper on the ropes, though.
Any, oh yeah, that's right. He would smell that I'm a cop a mile away. Any valuables that immediately catch Whitmire's eye?
There's lots of swanky stuff in the apartment. In fact, give me a luck roll.
As my luck is down right now. Well, I guess not.
Down, but not out.
So in this case, it's good. You actually avoid catching your reflection at this point and seeing Monroe rather than yourself. And it hasn't dawned on you.
Oh, wait. Do I have, I guess, what are my memories like here? Do I know everything that happened in Peru, or am I still...
This is like you just got hired. Yeah. You guys did a little bit of research.
Right. Was it? This would be to the point where Monroe ensorcelled him.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where your memories would kind of end.
You'd gotten like the golden mask from the university, and you'd done a little research, and you hadn't quite had the meeting with Saucedo where you guys were going to split off from Larkin because you didn't think he was up to anything. You hadn't really heard fully that. You're kind of in the process of it, but Monroe was needed something from you. So, that's what you have.
So, yeah, I mean, I know I'm not willing to get myself involved in this just yet.
Okay, so
watch and see what happens.
You thought that the younger man had the copper's number, but the copper is crafty, and he hits him with a liver punch that doubles Merryweather over, and then he bowls him over and straddles the younger man and starts choking him.
Oh, like that. I was going to say that the gun is kind of forgotten as a gun, but he starts just
clubbing him. Yeah, that would be like pistol whipping him. Yeah. So he just starts, whacking him in the head, and he's only going to get a few of those before Merryweather's as good as dead. So,
is what is around me? Do I have my handgun on me?
Well, you can check.
Oh man, when did he get that handgun?
Yeah, so you start going through your jacket and you pull out a flyer.
All right, I'll like kind of puzzled expression and look at it, and then curse Monroe for handing these things out.
Wait,
and
his clothing.
Look around.
The garish clothing you're wearing is not something you would normally wear because people could spot you from a mile away wearing something like that. So yeah, you have this brightly colored suit on.
Yeesh, I don't even know. Like I usually, I know I don't drink, so it can't be that. Someone must have drugged me.
What did Monroe do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll...
Is this an entrapment? Did Monroe try to put the blame on Whitmire for what's going down here?
Yeah, probably. He did. So what are you doing, Whitmire?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'll try to assist Larkin, see if he's still alive at least.
Okay. All right, so you have... you can go to pick him up. When you interact with him, though, there's something like really odd about him. Like it seems like physics are kind of broken around him. Like when you do stuff, his clothes just stay in the very same state that they're in. Like when you move him, you would expect the suit jacket, the linen suit jacket he's wearing to like fall open, but it just stays the same way. But you are able to pick him up or something if that's what you're wanting to do.
Well, yeah, I was planning on like kind of turn him and give him a look over, but I mean, if I'm noticing that, I mean, I guess what would it be to try and recognize that I'm not myself?
Well, at this stage, we can say while you've knelt down to look at Larkin, you catch your reflection in the mirror, and you see the visage of Mr. Monroe looking back at you. And speaking of Mr. Monroe,
Scream in horror.
this is the very worst thing. And I'm not going to do any sanity while you're in this state because this isn't the Whitmire that is the actual Whitmire, but you can play it however you want, like whichever way it changes you. But let's pause there for a moment and go to Monroe in the squishy place that smells of tainted meat, where you've just seen the dim view of Stanton's face, who tells you, "We've never left. We never left, Mr. Monroe."
All right, so yeah, obviously he'll try and reconcile that inside his own mind. Like, is everything that he'd experienced since then all just in his head? Did Father do something to him when we were having our combat, our psychological combat at the end of things? Or
well, you
so yeah, he's going to be getting his bearings, and as he kind of tries to absorb where he is and what's going on. And
well, all those moments since then where you've almost were sure you could hear Father crying at a great distance kind of come together, one after the other in your mind, and you're like, was that the real pushing into this fantasy I've been living? I was hearing it. You also had an uneasy feeling the day in this perhaps false memory where you left the pyramid that, given what you were up against, how was it that you just walked out of there unscathed?
Yeah.
Was it just...
other than 2 broken legs.
Right. But broken legs were far less than you maybe best of all understood could have happened to you, given what you were up against. Was it all just placed there for your benefit while you were down here with Father for months, being whatever it is that he needs you to be, along with Stanton, and as your eyes are adjusting, you see other shapes, the glassy-eyed stares of Dr. Andrews, and who else? We got Mr. Whitmire, and even other shapes still that are caught up in this fat-like substance. And again, Father roars. What would you like to do?
I'll kind of go staggering past all these bodies as I look for any way out. If it seems like we were actually in the pyramid, I'll be trying to remember my way out from that journey.
Yeah.
And well, all the while, like trying to run in my head, like, so what have I been doing? If that, trying to reconcile, like, what have I been doing all this time? What have I done? Can this be real? Like, yeah, just going over and over things. Stumbling and trying to crawl, trying to stay as much out of that goop as possible as well. Like trying to, even if it requires stepping on bodies and trying to crawl my way out, just frantic.
Well, when you cast around the room, you do see a crack of light, more wholesome light, not this sickly green dusk that everything is bathed in, but there's just at some distant wall a crack of torchlight, the warmth of fire, like a very slender ray of it coming through. But in order to get there, of course, you will be wading through this fat. And in fact, as you're trying not to get into it, the Cariceri larva, there's one on your hand, but it doesn't seem to be trying to enter you or anything like that. In fact, it's sort of nuzzling you lovingly.
Okay. I'll be crawling over corpses, trying to get to it while staying out of this muck as much as possible, and stepping on one corpse and then trying to jump to another, and then scrambling out of the muck and getting up on top of a corpse, and just over and over as I work my way towards that light, just
Right.
in kind of a frantic panic.
Yeah, so you, if you remember, this was the crack in the inner chamber that Father was bound in, through which the fat was leaking out and the larvae were escaping.
Yeah.
So it's the masonry there. You think with the proper application of force, you could maybe bust through it
But it would free Father, wouldn't it?
more than he already is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking about right now.
Ah.
Monroe's in kind of a blind panic, and so he's just gonna, regardless of the damage he does to himself, he's gonna like grabbing and scrambling and fighting and just pounding on the walls trying to get through.
Right. So give me a strength roll.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well, you can.
Wow, you're weak.
Yeah. He's a city boy. He's not. He's.
You got to push it.
Or can you luck attributes?
Yeah.
Not this time, but
Yeah. So if you wanted to push, the route would be that you're just not protecting yourself from injury in your attempt to get out, and so an additional failure, might break a finger or something like that.
that seems like something he'd be willing to do in this kind of a panic. So, holy
Nice.
cow! I honestly
Always
did not
push.
expect to make that.
Always push.
So with abandon, you pummel at this crack in the masonry and you dislodge one brick and then another, and then this fat just starts, gooping out, and the larvae are like big clumps are going over this opening, but you wriggle your way through like slopped in this fat, and you splash down into the pool that was just below it,
Okay.
free from the inner chamber for now, conquistador.
Okay.
You're looking at the image of a man that you were supposed to go to free Father. This Monroe character you think he is, right?
Mm.
So for the last 500 years or so, you have been infected with Akari Siri larva, working at the behest of Father. And a man came that Father warned you of, that you were supposed to obey, this Larkin character. And you were following Father's will to the best of your ability. But these men turned out to be craftier than you expected. You had kind of a low opinion of modern types. You were rather imperious because they all seemed weaklings and cowards and whatnot. So you're looking at the visage in a mirror of Monroe. When you glance down, you see Larkin, the master to whom you were supposed to serve at Father's behest, who seems to be wounded, shot in the chest. I think even you would recognize that as a conquistador. But so there you are. You speak broken English, but
Yeah, so I'll scream out, "Master!" and I'll run and slide up to Larkin on the floor there. Get, real close, uncomfortably close in his face. "Master, tell me what to do."
yeah, doesn't seem to be breathing, but his flesh is still warm enough to the touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you get no breath on your face or anything like that, and he doesn't respond to you shaking him.
Okay. So I've been left alone, masterless, with no idea what to do. Who's responsible?
Well, you see two men, well, now just one. But the one man has straddled another, and he's just beating now a bloody mess of a fractured skull with the butt of his pistol. He just keeps whacking it over and over again.
And clearly my Larkin was shot. So I'll attack that man. Is there a saber nearby?
You go for it, but it's not on your hip.
Yeah.
Luck roll. It's
Like I want to cast
Like in the room?
around and
Yeah.
see if there's
Yeah.
like a sword
Give me a luck roll.
or a blunderbuss. Or a what did the Spanish use? What was the rifle?
I think that's I can't remember the name of it.
arquebus or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
My own luck, which is legendarily
Like,
bad.
he never had a luck because he was just NPC, but go ahead and roll a 3d6 for me and we'll figure out what his luck is as a PC. So a 70? So yeah, you're rolling against 70.
Okay.
You can just use the D100 from the dice tray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
15.
Yeah.
That good or bad?
good, real good.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's one of those like French fencing foils. It's just hanging up over a fireplace, but it is a sword.
It's an inferior weapon from an inferior culture, but I'll
Go and
take it.
pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like 2 of them crossed on a mantle, and
He would have been a fencer in college, wouldn't he?
yeah, Meriwether.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you pull it off the mantle there, and you turn to wheel at the other man who's still pounding at the broken skull of a younger man.
Yeah, so how would I be looking at this? Like Father put me in the service of Larkin.
Yeah.
So like I'd be afraid that I'll be punished now because Larkin has been killed.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really say.
Or would there still be enough of me left to see that this is my chance to be free?
No.
Okay.
You're totally under the sway of Father.
Okay.
And if he commanded you to protect and serve Larkin, then that's your command. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to rush and run through the man with who has the pistol, who's most likely responsible.
But he has to do it with my body, right?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, but it's the skill. So you're impacting the damage he could do because you have like a 0 for bonus damage and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, am I not controlling this body also?
No, you are. Currently, the Conquistador is. But we're going to give Glover a luck roll to see if somebody else pops in there before he gets run through with a sword.
All right. Okay. I was going to say, if I fail this luck roll because I wanted to protect Monroe and make sure that second round hit, I'd be angry.
Yeah.
All right. So, Monroe, you're wading in this pool that you slopped into. You see a lantern burning that's this golden good light that attracted you, and it's just sitting there up on the edge, kind of drawing you towards it since it's the point of light in here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of trying to get out. I'm going to grab that.
Okay.
Reach out and grab that light. And
how combustible is he?
Pretty combustible. But when your hand grabs the lantern, this affords you a power roll to break into the real or perhaps the unreal.
A question that will forever haunt your mind.
Oh no, resist it.
Yeah. So yeah, just a regular success.
Okay. Well, the madness has not yet come to an end, but momentarily you struggle as you grab that lantern. The setting that you were in, this condo that belonged to Meriwether, comes back in. Only you have this fencing foil in your hand, and you're prepared to thrust it into Glover's chest. Glover is preparing to defend himself now against you.
Am I, though? Because it's Father doing this, so...
Yeah. Well, it's more like instinctual type defenses, right? So he's kind of sort of shrugging to one side as you're approaching with this foil. And, so you see Meriwether, at least you think it's Meriwether. His face is all bruised up and the skull's opened on one side.
Man, okay. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah. Like looking around, of course I'm going to be confused. Like how do I suddenly have a sword in my hand? Why is Glover beating Meriwether to death? I probably also see Larkin. Yeah.
Does a fetid taste remain on his tongue from the speaking of like cursed things?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll throw the weapon aside and throw my hands up and be like, Glover, get a hold of yourself. What happened?
Power roll, Glover.
Here we go.
It needs to be extreme.
It's not. What would I need to spend to make it extreme? Because we're gonna get popped if
like 30.
30
because
would
it's
be
1/5, right? It'd be 12, so 32. Yeah, 32
luck.
Yeah, to get it down to 12.
Man, I'm gonna be right on Brandon's level if that happens.
Just push.
That's when it's the most fun.
If I push, then I can't use luck, and this is already pretty low. 32 it is. So I'm down to 25, I do believe.
Yeah. So from Glover's perspective, when you were given the command by the Black Pharaoh, of course you would obey such a command. It wasn't.
How could you not?
Yeah, it wasn't just authority. It was the most correct thing to do in that moment. I mean, you knew that when you went to the wheel reading and you saw how Meriwether was.
He deserves this.
Yeah, it's society's the only thing that keeps people from getting brained when they ought to be brained.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
Father will see to that, though.
But there's something about Monroe and his irritating presence that grounds you, right? And you realize that this line of thinking, while it is your own, it never would have gotten to that point without something, right? You know, something else to push it there.
Yeah.
So you got a hold of yourself.
So, yeah, I think I'll be like, Jesus Christ, Monroe, do you ever shut up? And then I'll kind of start looking around. Like, I wouldn't say that. Why is he so irritating?
Your right hand is like bloody up to the wrist.
But yeah, I'll just be kind of waving like, "Are you okay? What happened? What happened?"
I think I'll look like a drunk guy that's about to puke, right? You know, where they're wobbly, but they suddenly go like really still and look off some direction.
Yeah.
While he's talking to me.
I would say that the realization of what you did is worth a sanity roll.
Okay.
I would say that too, actually.
And actually for you, for the gross injury to a person.
I'm going to say
Oh, maybe
that
it's sane as hell.
Yeah, I'm going to say it doesn't matter. I've gone through this type of stuff before. I got this under control.
Nice, we're fleshing out the background.
I like it.
But at the same time, right now, I'm also wondering: is this actually reality?
Right.
Am I back in the pyramid?
Yeah, they're poised perfectly on a balance for you right now.
Yeah. So yeah. After I do that, you know, and that moment of shock is done, I'll kind of step back and probably sit down in the chair that I was going to sit in originally, and you know, try and take stock.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be stealing myself. Don't worry, Monroe. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. And I'll wipe off the gun.
Yeah.
And I'll put it in Larkin's hand. And I'll take... Oh, it's like, no, I'll put it in Meriwether's hand because he shot Larkin. You saw that, right, Monroe? You saw it. Cold-blooded killer. The spoiled brats like this, they do it all the time. And then I'll go over to the phone.
I'm going to be kind of mumbling to myself about, and like trying to scrape imaginary fat off my legs and my arms, and just be like, I need to get it.
But you forgot you have a sword in your hand, so you stab yourself.
I threw that away. But yeah, I'll be like, I need to get clean. I need to get clean.
All right, Monroe. We're almost through the bout. We have more rounds to go, so let's get a power roll from our principal inhabitants of the Monroe flesh construct.
100. But yeah, I'll be
I got a hard success.
I'll be saying what the plan is out loud, right? So that way Monroe knows the story, and it will be that's
nice.
a critical failure.
Yeah.
Nice. And so it will be they got in an argument. He took my gun from me. He shot Larkin twice in the chest. How are we going to explain the beating, Monroe?
I can actually have plausible deniability because I do not actually remember what happened. I can just say I blacked out.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a fast talk.
Yeah.
But it's at that moment while you're going over that the conquistador comes back.
But yeah, I'll be sitting in the chair. So.
Right, yeah. So now you're in the chair. There was some sort of lapse in time. You no longer have the foil in your hands. And this Glover is, or, you know, this character is explaining something to you in his English, in such a vile tongue. Mm-hmm. You only understand it out of necessity. But yeah.
We got to stick together on this, you and me. Meriwether took the gun, shot him. We were defending ourselves.
Do I believe him? That Meriwether did the shooting?
I could be.
Well, you had no idea who shot who,
right?
When you came into that situation. So, I mean, somebody shot him.
I could be persuading.
Yeah, like
Monroe
I had just assumed it was him because he had the gun in his hand.
Right.
But now he's saying,
yeah, it could be that he jumped to Larkin's defense and beat the assassin to death. So maybe you're on league.
I had to.
Yeah, and him saying we're in this together, kind of.
But if you want a roll to help make up your mind, we could have Glover put out his persuade there or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see if you can persuade me.
Looks like it.
I hit him, but he was surprisingly strong for a preppy kid. Had to hit him a couple times. He might live. Who knows, right? But you saw it.
I'll break down in tears. He killed my master.
Might not want to say that.
So
and I'll put
is
the
is Whitmire still breathing?
or
Can I see if
Larkin?
or
No, no.
No,
Merriweather.
Merriweather's. He's donezo.
Merriweather's done?
Yeah.
For sure.
He wouldn't let go of the gun.
Open brain. Not that the
Stuff it back in.
conquistador knows. I'm just saying, good opportunity for gland
Alright.
fluid, but nobody's in the right
Well,
frame
okay.
Not that he knows.
to collect this. Right.
Well, I guess at this point then, like if I believe that the dead guy killed Larkin, then now I'll just go pick up Larkin.
Okay.
No,
I guess he needs to be taken somewhere. I don't know where.
No. Don't touch him.
Right? Like
Monroe.
he doesn't know what to do at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Monroe, don't touch anything.
father's gonna be so angry.
It's
And
okay.
anything that Monroe is saying to you at this point, Glover, has a Spanish accent to it.
Yeah, like father will be
And
angry.
he's speaking broken English for some reason, too, so it's
Is it
as simple
that,
as possible.
Is it the Barcelonan where everything sort of has
Yeah, it has the lispy part to it.
father is going to be so angry. I have to return him to the pyramid.
Is that Castilian? That there would have been.
Mm.
I don't know what.
Well, we have to kind of suspend our disbelief because I think when you're talking about 500 years, the
Yeah.
lingo and stuff really
Changes a
changes a
bit,
lot. Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, so right, I've been so overwhelmingly dominated for 500 years that I'm probably not hearing him now. So I just want to go pick up Larkin. Like I would take him somewhere. I don't even know where I am, but
I'm
Right.
gonna suspend picking up the phone. I gotta stop him from this crime scene. Has to kind of have some sort of semblance of the structure to it here. So yeah, I'll grab my shoulders and like, don't pick him up. I told you, don't touch anything here.
are you going to bring him back? You can fix it.
I'm gonna
You
look
can
at
fix
him,
it.
like, yeah, Monroe, I'll fix it. Don't worry. Just sit down, you kooky bastard.
Okay, I'll sit down.
And there is something odd because he's holding Larkin now, but you see like a blood droplet on the back of his jacket is just like perfectly poised about to drop, but it just doesn't ever fully drop. And like I said, the physics are a little messed up where his jacket should be like flapping down behind him, but it's just holding sort of rigid. Although you are able to pose him and to manipulate him, and so when you pick him up, he's sort of cradled there like a child, I guess.
We can say you tried helping him out. That's okay. We got bigger fish to fry right now. They
All
probably
right.
heard the gunshot. Maybe
Yeah.
someone probably heard it. Someone's got to.
Well, at this point, I'll just, since I believe him that he didn't shoot him, then I'll just listen to him.
Okay.
I'll put him down and wait.
Go over to the phone again. I'll keep an eye on him. I'll kind of like a dog, just keep kind of making common gestures his way. But I gotta call us in.
Right. Yeah.
Was there ever anybody else that I would have taken instructions from?
Just father and just Larkin.
Okay.
Like as far as the other Kari Siri, when it was kind of, you never really had the need to communicate about what the plan was, right? So, but you did direct them
Yeah.
like the other ones, and you would kind of feel them in proximity to you,
Okay.
by father's great understanding of all things. But you don't feel any other Kari Siri nearby that you can call to or anything like that.
All right. Am I hungry?
Oh yeah.
I'll
He caught on to the fact. Has he caught on to the fact that he's being called Monroe?
I don't know. He hasn't responded to it. I mean,
he might have gone by many different names over the years.
Well, I just am playing it. Like Larkin being dead is so traumatic that I'm not really.
I'll try to catch my reflection in the mirror.
yeah, you see that there's some stuff that needs to be taken care of as far as your personal, your clothes, because you can't bash somebody's head in without getting a little bit of splatter on you.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
I defended myself and Monroe.
Right.
Do I have defensive wounds?
Oh,
We got
No.
no struggle.
no, you didn't get hit by him at all. He was just that underpowered, you know?
Is there anything heavy on the desk, like a paperweight?
Yeah.
Not do.
There's also probably a broken glass because you said that.
Yeah, it fell
he was
to
gonna
the
try-
floor. It didn't quite break, though.
Yeah, paperweight will do. It just
Okay.
has to sort of be of a similar shape to the
glass,
gun, or
yeah.
not the glass, but like the gun.
Oh,
or
gotcha. Right.
something like that. Because something that he would have had in his hand.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember too, forensics are at a different. And when we get done with this, we'll just leave it up to a law roll to determine like how you did overall, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a paperweight nearby.
Yeah. So I'll have one hand kind of reaching out for the phone, and I'll kind of hesitate, grab that, and then what would it be? Left side of the face.
Okay.
One real quick.
Did Merriweather have a few extra pounds on him?
Yeah, he was a softer looking man. You know, when he was in his suit, because they were tailored, you wouldn't notice. But since
can
he's in a
smell it.
bathrobe and it's all open, you know, he's got the inner tube going around the waist and his
Yeah.
you know, the
I'm gonna go over there to feed. I'll crawl over, right? I'll try and be surreptitious about it.
All right, Glover. So roll a D3 for the damage from your self-inflicted wound there.
Okay.
So 2 points. Damn near got a tooth loose on that one. And when you turn around, you see the Monroe appears to be eating the corpse of Merriweather.
Does he try to eat, or does he wait for his lamprey like mouth to open up? And
Like I would be over there with my mouth.
Well, you're in
open,
such a
you know?
state that you don't think about it, right? You just go to do the eating. Now you went to go to do the eating with what you have, which is Monroe's
So he just,
jaws
like,
and teeth.
Stick his tongue on the.
Yeah. So usually you have this, this protruding thing and you
Yeah.
suction onto it, but you're able to just bite into the flesh and you feel the blood sort of flow into your mouth. But this is not what you're used to.
yeah,
Right?
I'll go push him off.
So hungry,
I don't care. Sit down in that chair.
Master. I'm so hungry.
Don't move. Monroe ain't a fighter. He probably
So that's what I'll do. I'll just I've been obeying for so long that I'll
Get
keep
used
doing
to it.
that. So I'll go sit down in the chair, but I'll keep staring at the
I'll
body.
keep an eye on him.
All right, Monroe. So for a split second, you were back to one equally real version of events where you were in the condo, but things had gone terribly wrong. But now you are back beneath the pyramid with this lantern in your hand, and you're running through these halls that you remember so well, where you guys had bombed or dynamited part of it, and you had a rope. You just have to circle around this inner chamber to get to that rope.
Yeah, I'll be sprinting as fast as I can.
Right.
But yeah, still like my brain isn't quite working the way that you do when you're fully recognized. Like when you first wake up out of a dream, you know how you kind of have the impressions of what had already been in your dream, and you can't shake that they're like you're still trying to react what was in there. So yeah, at the same time I'm like fleeing for my life out of this temple. I'll be like, what was Glover doing? You know, why was he? Why we were there to talk to Merriweather, not to kill him. But I'm still like running as fast as I can, and then flashing back and forth between Stanton and the rest of them being in the flesh pit, and then Larkin being there, and like, how did Larkin find us? And back and forth between the two realities as my brain kind of tries to digest it.
Yeah, while you're having that mental struggle, you come across this chimney and you see the tail of the rope dangling there. You know, they were sharply angled. It's still a bit of a climb once you get past the angled point to where you're going like straight up.
Okay.
So it's when you're getting there, bracing yourself against the wall, preparing to climb, you see the slate gray sky of Peru overhead that you hear like, these liquid sounds of movement behind you downward the chimney
Okay.
where you just came from.
So is this an oil lamp or an electric lamp?
It's an oil lamp.
Okay. I'll throw it towards the base of the chimney.
Yeah. So when you throw it down there, you see these larvae are kind of all like crawling over each other to where they almost form like a unified tendril, and they're sort of following up after you. Not like they're threatening you, but like you're leading the way out of the place. But when you throw your lantern on them, it bursts into flame, and there's a great push of heat and flame in both directions down this narrow chimney. Give me a Constitution roll.
To avoid catching on fire.
Well, it's almost 50-50. That, yeah, no.
Oh, push. Yeah. It works so well for you.
Why do you run so slow? All right, so you don't have to mark it, but you take 5 points of damage. What's your hit point total?
12.
12. All right, so you just smell like burning hair, your own, you think.
Yeah.
And your skin is tender feeling, but you can try to climb out there.
Yeah.
And smoke's starting to choke up around you.
Yeah, as soon as I throw it, I'm trying to get out.
Dex is just fine on this one, or climb, whichever is higher, since you have a brace.
Both of them are horrible, but we'll go with Dex.
So you're not able to lift your own body weight, so you're not making any headway. Of course, you can push. That just means you will fall if you fail. It means you actually make progress, but then fail.
This is the rope all greased now, too.
Your hands are. And there's a fire behind you.
I'll wait one more turn to try and get a second attempt at it. But yeah, the panic is starting to build again as these things get closer and as the fire gets closer. But yeah, he's just kind of in a weird state.
Right. So. Yeah. All right. So back in the condo, the Whitmire persona comes into play. So Whitmire, you have the taste of blood in your mouth. Your cheeks are wet. It feels like tears on your cheeks. And you're kneeling over the corpse of Meriwether. What do you do?
He was pushed back. He sat in the chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd move back to the chair.
Well, I mean, I'll spit first. Just try to get that taste out, and then kind of probe, my mouth with my tongue and see, and I'm assuming that this other person is in front of me, and I'm just wondering, did he hit me with something? Because I'd blacked out for a minute, and now I come back to, mouth full of blood, and I would never cry unless I was knocked out. I mean,
well, give me a
right?
spot hidden. Nice, sharp-eyed enough to notice a small wound on the torso of this corpse of this person you don't know that have the indentation of teeth. And you've never bit a person or tried to eat a person, but for some reason you have the unshakable understanding that the taste in your mouth is that person's blood. And Glover's they're still saying something. Of course, you don't know Glover in this version of
Fresh
Whitmire.
mark on his face.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as weird as it sounds, putting two and two together, for whatever reason, I bit this person, and then I'm assuming when he tried to stop me, I punched him or hit him with something. So I'm gonna try and talk my way out of it. Because basically that, listen, pal, I don't know you, you don't know me. It's I'm not sure what went down here, right? I mean, must have been some drugs that we took or something, but there's two dead guys here, and we got to get out of here, right? As I don't know what happened, but we just got to go.
Whitmire, annotations.
Yeah. I mean, what's your psychology? It's pretty high, isn't it?
60.
And you've kind of done some buddy cop stuff with them.
Yeah.
I would say you don't need to roll to notice that this is like Monroe doing a damn good impression of Whitmire. Because it is Monroe's voice, his vocal cords. But yeah, they have a different accent. I imagine Monroe, just the way Justin does it, is kind of this not posh exactly, but trying to give the air of an intellectual, right?
Yeah.
Maybe too big of words, that sort of thing, and then necessary.
Trying to hide a slight accent or something.
But this is pure street, that you're getting now.
Yeah,
Which
yeah, him. Okay.
yeah,
Whitmire?
I got an extreme success.
on your fast.
Yes.
But he did. This person you don't know did say Whitmire ?
As well. All right. So obviously you know me. I don't know you. Right. This is all. But yeah, and that will make me stop a bit, and I'll look at him questioningly. Be who else do you think I would be? Right? Is the Duke of someplace, right?
All right. Well,
Austria.
I'm gonna have to take the penalty die from him because I'd be right there with you, Whitmire, getting out of here. But they know we're here. They know our faces. We gotta call this in. I know people. They'll help us out. You know how this goes.
Oh, wait a minute. Who knows we're here though?
The receptionist at the desk.
Ah, jeez.
You just sit there, stick to the plan.
All right, so
You're good on your feet.
What were we even doing here?
We were talking to Meriwether's son. That's the guy with the brains on the floor.
You mean Meriwether who hired me for Peru?
Sure. It was an old guy, right? That's who you're thinking about?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Now catch up, Whitmire. I know you think fast on your feet. Come on. This is his kid. Meriwether's dead. Both of them, in fact, now. Old Meriwether, he got killed at some other location. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I just clubbed his head in. Here. In defense, of course, right?
Right.
Well, obviously it was self-defense.
Snatched my gun.
It's pretty obvious what happened here. Yeah, he shot him, but I mean, that body doesn't look quite right.
We're about it later.
And I'll point to Larkin.
But I need to call this in. And while you're here, Whitmire, I need you to just stay in that chair for me to make this phone
Well,
call.
hurry up and do your thing. We got to get out of here.
All right. And I'll pick up
Or
the
get
phone.
out of this situation.
And does it go to operator or does it go to reception?
It goes automatically to reception, and you can have them connect you to the operator.
All right. I need you. Hello. This is Jack Glover up in, what is the condo?
802.
Up in 802. I need you to patch me on through. Oh, man. Do I know anyone?
Like on the police force you'd want to contact?
Like Buddy, yeah. Like Buddy on the force.
Well, you got along with Fallon real well, but you got to X him because he just up and disappeared one day. And so you think the next one would probably be, his name escapes me. You just talked to him.
Oh,
Bell.
Bell.
Yeah. Although sometimes you're not sure.
Yeah.
But you definitely can't do Nichols because he's like a paladin,
Yeah. All right. I need you to patch me through to Detective Bell's desk down at Boston PD. Make it quick, please.
Yes, sir. Hold one moment. All right, Mr. Monroe. The fire's reaching towards you, looking towards you. What are you going to do?
Scramble up.
All right.
Another climb.
Or Dex.
Definitely Dex. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't even have enough to buy that success. So I have no choice but to try and push it.
Yep.
Always push.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
What did it do? It's being slow for me.
Yeah.
28 out of 30.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. In my last frantic moment, I scrambled.
Yeah, you scramble up that rope. It wasn't a long ways, but it sure feels like a long ways when fire's, looking up the chimney. You scramble towards that slate gray sky, not like the greenish sickly light you were surrounded by, to the fresh air. And it's when you finally scramble over the lip of that chimney that your bout of temporary madness ends.
Okay.
And
That's
the
good.
Monroe persona returns.
I was going to try to sculpt flesh on my next turn. Try to start sculpting the corpses
Yeah.
into a more suitable...
You would have got another one, but he fumbled it, so he got out of the running. Lucky for Monroe, unlucky for the rest of us. But yes, okay. Monroe, you return to your body.
Does the critical failure leave some sort of residue that might hint at the stasis that was used by the Elder Thing?
Oh, in his mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of a good idea.
Maybe like it's like kind of patched, but he
Yeah.
can pick at it.
Right.
Might
yeah.
have consequences or something.
Yeah, so when you do come back to this could be the real place, maybe you don't know. It feels real now that you're here, but so did the other place. You see sort of something around Larkin that you can't even really begin to describe it, but there's something encasing him that's fading even now as you look at it.
Maybe Larkin doesn't line up with himself correctly. It's like he's all odd angles, but not like almost like a broken mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if somehow you could splinter reality and that it's just slightly out of jig at different points.
It kind of lends itself to this not being the real reality, though.
But we'll leave the condo to find out what happens. And the final scene will be Dr. Andrews closing the book of an encyclopedia in a comfy library and putting it back on the shelf. And Dr. Call looking at you and saying, "How about we go get some drinks?"
Sounds good.
And well, thanks for playing, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank
That
you,
was,
Travis.
Thank you.
Quite the eventful.
Son of a.
That was pretty fun.
It was.
Now he's been blooded. Clover has. This has been a Deathwatch production. Thank you for listening.